Good afternoon, everyone. I do hope you're having a good day. I am about to go out for a run. These days, that's pretty much those are our options: go for a run, go for a walk, or go get food. So today, I'm going to go for a run later on. I just wanted to just touch base with you all as it relates to the new series, which is Character 101, and the topic today is consistency. So, character, one of the definitions that I found about as it relates to character is as follows. It's defined as the complex of mental and ethical traits marking and often individualizing a person, group, or nation. And consistency is the quality of being consistent. To be consistent means to act or do something in the same way over time, especially so as to be fair or accurate. So I'll start off with a story. A number of years ago, my pastor asked me to be responsible for keeping a Facebook page updated, and I accepted the role. However, as much as I accepted the role, I did not do what I said I would do. And so, because I failed to prepare myself and get myself organized to fulfill that role, the page would often go for weeks without any updates from myself. And so she noticed this and took me aside and reprimanded me for it. And that definitely contributed very much to my growth in the area of consistency, because it taught me that regardless of how I feel, when I accept a role, then it's my responsibility to do what I said I would do. So I just thought I'd share that with you as an example of a time when I was very much inconsistent. So, what are the dangers of inconsistency? A person who is inconsistent, one of the dangers that they face is a lack of responsibility. So, if a person has proven to be unreliable, because inconsistency is often is often related to unreliability. So, if a person develops a reputation for being unreliable, it is highly unlikely that such a person would be given responsibility. So, if, for instance, a student has come into class consistently late, when a research project comes up, the teacher is more than likely will not be providing that student with the responsibility of heading up the research project, because they've proven themselves over time to be unreliable. Another danger of inconsistency is no or low reward. So that's no reward or low reward. So a person's reward is often linked to the amount of responsibility that they are willing to take up. So, for instance, a CEO who is responsible for a construction site must ensure that they provide safe equipment. They must provide safe working gear. If anything happens to their worker whilst they're on site, that CEO bears responsibility for that life. And I believe in law it's called vicarious liability. They're not directly liable, but because they're above the entire organization, they are held responsible for anything that goes wrong on site. A cleaner, on the other hand, has low responsibility, and although both the cleaner and the CEO, two C's, they both provide valuable services, but what makes one distinct from the other is the amount of responsibility that they carry. So the CEO carries more responsibility, and accordingly, they receive a greater reward than the cleaner. So somebody who has proven themselves to be inconsistent is unlikely to get a great reward, because people just will not trust them with responsibility of seeing things through. Another danger of inconsistency is damage to self-confidence. A lack of consistency will eventually erode a person's self-confidence, because when you're inconsistent, you teach people that you're unreliable, and by teaching them that you're unreliable, people don't depend on you, and eventually you don't depend on yourself, because this is the programming that you've set in your life and in your mind, and so you lose confidence in yourself, just as people lose confidence in you as well. So, what are the benefits of being consistent? One benefit of being consistent is dependability. So you teach people that you can be dependent upon. When you say you're going to do a thing, people can rely on you to actually come through when you say you're going to do something. So dependability, people depend on you, you depend on yourself to see things through. Another benefit of consistency is opportunities. A person who is consistent will find themselves exposed eventually to an infinite amount of opportunities, because in most jobs you can learn this skill on the job or by obtaining additional training. However, people of character are often few and far between. So if you develop the character skills, such as consistency, which we're dealing with today, then you find that you have exposure to more opportunities that are placed before you, and you can actually afford to just pick and choose as to which one you'd like to explore. Another benefit of consistency is quality. So, consistency ensures that you produce quality results in your life and in the tasks in which you engage in. So, a consistent person works in the same manner until a better way is revealed. So, for instance, I can imagine that the recipes for the KFC chicken that we enjoy in the UK and other parts of the world, um, the recipe that we enjoy today, I'm sure, did not come just on the one trial. They had to practice, 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 and provide the food to customers on a consistent basis. Perhaps take in feedback, improve the recipe, and they kept doing that until we have the recipe that we all enjoy today. The same with Coca-Cola. I can imagine that the initial recipe is not the recipe that we're currently enjoying today. So they practice, 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 provide their product on a consistent basis, listen to what customers are saying, improve on the recipe, provide perhaps different flavors as we have with Coca-Cola. So a consistent person actually, um, they're not just committed to just one way of doing things. If they found one way of doing something, they follow that path until they find a better way, and then they remain consistent in the new way. Yeah. So how can you become consistent? I'll share some tips with you on that. So one way of becoming consistent is to embrace the mundane. In the world that we're living in, people are often in search of the new, the exciting, um, the new challenge, the new adventure. However, consistency is often developed in mundane activities, such as laying your bed every single morning without taking a day off. So it's not usually found in the exciting and the thrilling and what people would go for, but it's developed in committing to mundane activities on a daily basis, such as laying your bed, such as meeting deadlines, such as keeping promises, to people who perhaps others might view as insignificant. And by insignificance, I mean they can't actually apply a penalty to you. So it could be your child. So you make a promise to your child, you keep that promise. You make a promise to your spouse who is significant. Your child is significant, your spouse is significant, but they can't necessarily apply a penalty to you in the same way as perhaps your boss could apply a penalty to you, in that you could lose your job if you keep coming to work late. So it's about being consistent in small areas, in hidden areas, in private areas, private places, in the privacy of your home, the privacy of your relationships. Be consistent in those areas. Um, with regards to consistency, repetition is key. So you must be aware that in developing consistency, you're going to find yourself repeating the same thing over and over again. In the film Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi was teaching his protege the art of karate, but instead of going straight to it, what he showed him first was how to wax a car. So the popular phrase is wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. And although he didn't explain himself, he knew what his plan was in his own mind. but that he didn't necessarily communicate that to his protege. So his protege thought he was wasting his time waxing on, waxing off, waxing on, waxing off, over and over and over again for days on end. And that's how it is with consistency. You'll do it over and over and over and over again. So you do that until it actually becomes a part of you. It becomes a discipline. You do it without even thinking. You become consistent without thinking. So when you say something, it's not even an option for you to break your word because you know you said it. So even if you don't feel like doing what you said, your feelings are not a consideration. You're bound by what you've said. Whatever commitment you've made, you keep that commitment. So you do it over and over and over again. You keep your word to little people, young people. You keep your word to older people. You keep your word to people who can apply a penalty. You just do it over and over and over again until it becomes part of your makeup, who you are as a person. So repetition is key when it comes to developing consistency. And then finally, it's important rather to remain alert, because it is possible to be consistent in doing the wrong thing. For instance, when like way back in the day, when transportation took place by the horse and buggy, you can imagine using the horse and buggy in this day and age. It doesn't fit in with the lifestyle. So Henry Ford stepped in and decided to make a horseless carriage, which we know as the motor vehicle today. So with consistency, remain alert, keep reviewing what you're doing and exploring to see if there are better ways that you can improve your services. So for instance, Apple maintains consistency in its products until issues are identified, and then they make the iterations, make the amendments, and provide an upgrade. And that's the way it is with consistency. You do what you know on the level that you're at until you find a better way to do something, and then you move on to that better way and stay consistent at it. So people recognize your behavior pattern, like this person can be relied upon to do what they say they will do. Yeah, so those are my tips for today. Please feel free to share this with whoever you think needs to hear it, and go ahead and subscribe so you are kept in the loop for future videos. All right, until next time, please stay safe. Take it easy. Bye.